Good morning, North America. Welcome to Church Talk TV. Lively talk about life, church, and church life. I'm your co-host, Dr. Bill Britton, and I'm joined, as usual, by my co-host, Dr. Kris Britton, and we're broadcasting from our studio in Columbia, Missouri, the heartland of America. Say good morning, Kris.
Well, good morning, and welcome to Church Talk TV.
Kris and Bill Britton here today to talk to you about hospitality, but not just hospitality. We're talking about holiday hospitality with Scott Musselman. Now, Scott is, in the Effective Church Group, he's the hospitality guy. And he was a client of ours at Effective Church Group. Actually, we were 21st Century Strategies back then. But he was one of our clients, and he took what we taught about hospitality, and he took it to the next level, way the next level, to the point that 85% of his first-time visitors return. Now, that's pretty amazing since the national average is 15%, and in the mainline church, it's a pathetic 6%. And here he is knocking it out of the ballpark year after year after year. 85%. What would happen in your church if you could get 85% of every legitimate first-time visitor, someone who's local, not flown in from California for vacation, but 85% of those first-time visitors, if they returned, and the majority of those, the vast majority of those, stay at his church and stay involved. So, Scott, welcome to the Effective Church Group and to Church Talk. We are so awesome to have you here.
We're so awesome to have him here.
Oh, yeah, we're awesome. Yeah, we're
you're
awesome.
So awesome to be
You're so
here.
awesome.
Welcome.
It is awesome to have you here.
Hi, Scott.
It's always good to be in your presence.
Even if we're 1,000 miles away or a couple hundred or 50 years, as the case may be.
30, as the case may be.
There we are.
So,
go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to say, I want to start us off by talking about why hospitality is so important. I mean, a lot of us think we know, but we want to hear it from you.
Yeah, thanks. I think that lots of times we can even make hospitality even into kind of just a tool, and it is one, but we need to think about it far more significantly than that, it has keen biblical implications where you go all the way back to people like Abraham and is visited by these heavenly beings, and to note how significantly Abraham receives these folks. And not only that, but how important then that visit was, that's how Abraham and Sarah get the real message made clearly that, hey, you really are going to have a son and you're going to name him Laughter. Okay. And then, you follow up with his nephew, Lot, and that's an uncomfortable story. But again, you have these heavenly beings that show up. And as much as we often will kind of take this into the sexuality or something, even the Bible itself seems to speak rather clearly that it's about hospitality, that the takeaway, it seems, in the issue of hospitality, the story of Lot and his visitors, is that hospitality is the bottom line, that it's his job to protect those visitors at all cost, that those visitors are the essential ones for him to show concern for in that moment. And I think that these kinds of biblical foundations are vital to us. And well, then you continue on with Jesus. He's kind of important to us. And he ate with sinners and tax collectors. We say that all the time in preaching, and who would be the sinners and the tax collectors today? And we sort of play with that. But how often do we really get out there and hang out in the bars or something and do seemingly what Jesus would do? And that beyond that, when we have the stories of Jesus sending people out and saying, hey, you're going to kind of prepare the way for me. This is where I'm going to go. And you're sort of greasing the wheels before I get there. It's all about hospitality. He says, if those people accept you, then stay there. If they don't, well, he uses kind of harsh language, kick the sand off your feet. But for me, it's not only that hospitality piece, but to note that the peace of Christ, which we say passes all human understanding, is attached to that hospitality. That if those people receive you, that peace will reside with them. If those people don't receive you in a hospitable manner, that peace returns to you. And to understand that in a way there's even some power. It is a thing that goes back and forth. So yeah, for me, hospitality is really vital. And I was reading, and it's just kind of a nondescript site, but in preparation for chatting today. And I found this definition, if you will, that says that biblical hospitality transforms strangers into guests.
Wow.
I love that.
That's great.
And yeah, that how many times do people come to them as strangers and feel like they left a stranger? Yes. Now, we often say, well, yeah, how many guests did you have or visitors this week? And we say, oh, this many. Well, did those people who showed up at your church feel like they were legitimate guests? Or again, did they leave a stranger? And if you kind of flip the story with putting Jesus into it, there are days when Jesus is sending people to our churches. They're bringing his peace, if you will. And did we receive them in a hospitable manner? Did that peace reside with us, or did that peace leave with them? So yeah, those are the kind of biblical implications that I think that are absolutely necessary for us to understand from a foundational perspective.
Wow, it's incredible. So let me ask you, what would Christian hospitality, especially the church, what would that look like today?
Yeah, I think that's the deal, that it's absolutely essential for whatever our gatherings might be, whether they are worship or what kind of events we might have, that hospitality is something that we have to consider in a most vital manner. And that means that, we all have this in our churches, and from time to time that you've got the interplay of like, who's most important? Is it the visitor and their concerns, or the members? I mean, after all, as they might remind you, we pay your salary, kind of a thing. But if again, from a perspective, in sort of our language, and this is kind of our firm talk, that the needs of the visitor, of the guest, outweigh the preferences of the member. And when we did the consultation in our own congregation, I think just to make the point that this isn't just saying, okay, well, yeah, we'll honor the preferences or the needs of our guests, that you really have to take that kind of seriously. There's a DNA, a culture that usually in our congregations that doesn't work like that. And so for us, that really was the structured process that we used in the consultation. And in my sort of way of thinking, I remember the day when it felt like in our congregation, when it moved to 51% of people feeling that was the way we should be. And one of our old-time pillars of the church, who was really well respected, got up at a meeting and he said, I've been a member of this church, well, forever, literally, and that I feel keenly about all of you and relationships and la-di-da, but now how I operate on every Sunday morning is I look first for the person I don't know and make sure that I talk to that person. And that really was a transformative day for us. And because of his place in the congregation, was really helpful in moving that forward. So, whatever is in a particular context, I think you need to develop some sort of strategy if you're really going to take this seriously. And a part of that strategy is just very basic concepts that hopefully we understand, but good signage. And most of us, if we think about signage in other instances, we will understand to feel stupid. when you're looking for something. I went into a new medical building not so long ago, and I didn't really know where to go. And I felt a little embarrassed that I went in 2 doors down from where I really should have. And the first person I talked to, I said, "Hey, where do I go for this?" And they go, "I don't know." I go, "Oh, okay." And so I just keep walking, and I finally find a person that knows where I should go. Well, people come to church, and they don't know what they're going to discover there. And so good signage help them to know where to park, how to park, where to find a restroom, where to find the worship center, what door should I come in, all those things. I mean, it comes down to, again, that sometimes I think we don't really understand hospitality in the sense of, we all understand if someone's coming to my house, the vast majority of us, we want to make sure they're comfortable. So, we get them something to drink. We show them the best place to sit. We tell them where the bathroom is, all those kinds of things. I mean, we do that almost automatically. And we meet them at the door, and we depart with them as they go to their car, all those things. Well, church is the same way. And not the least of which those restrooms that I referenced, when we did our consultation, the kind of serious joke was that we wanted to create the nicest restrooms in town. And I think they ended up even nicer than I recognized they were going to. They're wonderful. And it's the same thing. You're out driving on the interstate, and man, you need to use a restroom. And you go off and you get one of these convenience stores, and you go inside, and it's just horribly dirty. I mean, at least for me, there have been times that even though I really needed to use a restroom, I went, I'm not exposing myself to this filth. I'm going another couple miles down the road if I have to. Well, it's the same thing. It's about hospitality, that's showing that you really care for these people, that you honor these people, that I think is so vital. And so that we make sure that at any one time, whenever there's a guest in on our campus, really, that they maybe can visually see a person that looks like that person will be able to tell them what they need. And we don't smother people. We make sure that they recognize that we cared about them, and that they're receiving a good experience was absolutely paramount for us, however that is in your own context. So yeah, it's all about creating faith community. Again, I'm always wanting to make sure that, we talk about, well, growing the church. Well, yeah, that's really important. But why? Is it because my poor ego needs are such that, I need more people in my church so I can feel better about my ministry? Or is it because I really, truly do believe that people need Jesus, and that the best way for me, again, in that definition, to help people make that first step is moving from a stranger to a guest through hospitality?
So I want to add to that a piece. It's not just on Sundays. It goes beyond Sundays and during the week. I was on my way to a retreat several years ago, and oh my gosh, I had to go to the restroom. I couldn't get to, McDonald's. That's my favorite place because I know exactly where they are. And there was this big old church, and I had passed several smaller churches, and I thought about how they might feel about safety and the like. So here was a big church. I knew that there would be people there. I pulled in, and I was basically chased off of the property because they were tarring, resurfacing their parking lot, and the front door wasn't being resurfaced, and I knew there were people inside, and they told me no, I had to leave, that they were not able to accommodate whatever I needed. And oh my goodness, yeah. So yeah, not just Sundays, but every day. I bet you were expecting to hear more of what Scott has to say. Me too. Let me tell you, the rest of this interview with Scott is fabulous. It's got so much information. You really want to hear it, need to hear it. But our time with Scott was so long that we have to turn this into 2 episodes. So please join us again next week. If you know of somebody who needs to hear a little bit about or might want to hear about holiday hospitality, have them watch this week's episode and then invite them to enjoy you next week as we have the second part of our conversation with Scott Musselman about hospitality. See you next week.